Hi and welcome to this week's art talk. So I know I was repeating some things again last week, it's just that I feel it's so important and these things get lost every now and then. So I ended on last week's talk with everything in the work of art is handmade. There is nothing technical, no machine in it. Spirit is transmitted through the senses. We can only build relationships with what we know, and as humans, we don't have a machine in us, as I've said before, but are made of material, nature, and spirit. Artificial intelligence does not exist in us, nor does anything digital. However, material can have spirit. And when I paint, I am convinced I transmit my spirit into the work for you to find as your own subjective creativity allows you to. Let me say that again. When I paint, I transmit my spirit into the work for you to find, as your subjective certainty allows you to. That means everybody sees the work of art differently. That is, if it's a work of art, because then it's open to interpretation. A work of art can be seen differently by everyone. Every person is a subjective human being, meaning you all have your own very personal experiences. Art is a non-negotiable expression of every single person, like speech or singing. We need something that takes us beyond the everyday, because the everyday is ugly. Art helps us bear it. We enjoy looking at a sunset because it's beautiful and it reminds us, consciously or unconsciously, that the idea of human beings is of beauty and infinity. Looking at a work of art helps us understand there is more to the world than just ourselves and our concerns. It shows us other ways of being, of seeing, new ideas that we might not have had before. In his book, I can't speak French, I'm really sorry. I had a lovely French teacher at school in the UK, but I was not gifted. The French neuroscientist Pierre Lemarquis explained, we need medicine that's a little artistic. Research on the effect of art on the brain has been carried out for many years. A 2019 World Health Organization report, based on the evidence from over 3,000 studies, identified a major role for the arts in prevention of illness. So we know that art is good for us. We know that we need to express ourselves. We know that art is important. And yet, when you look at the telly or you listen to something on the talk show, and you've got a group of people, you've got a panel invited to talk about some subject, something that's going on in the world today, there's a scientist, there's maybe these days a philosopher, there's a journalist, probably. Have you ever seen an artist in these talk shows? Is there ever an artist who's asked on his opinion or her opinion of the world? That's why I think it's so important. Art is way more important than we give it credit for today. Art can't change the world, but it opens our eyes to things happening in the world. What else did I want to say to you? Our brains capture a lot more information than we are conscious of, says Lemarquis, whom I mentioned before. When we look at a work of art in person, it's lit up by something akin to beams from a lamp. When we look at that same work of art in a book, there is less lamplight. When we look at that same work of art on a screen, digitally, we almost have no response to it whatsoever. Quantities of information and consequently possible neurological interactions are lost the further away we get from the original artwork. So we can always look at ourselves like the ultimate work of art, us humans. We're open, we're free. And these are things that a work of art needs to be as well. It needs to be open, it needs to be free, and it needs to not refer to anything outside of itself. It is a universe within itself. which is why, of course, I think most work of art really should have a frame. Because if you put a frame around a work of art, and you can just about see here, it gives you a threshold into that work of art, into that new universe, into that place you haven't been before, or are maybe going for the 10th time, because every time you can think about or see something different. That's it for today. I think that's enough to go on. Thank you very much. If you enjoyed this art talk, leave a thumbs up and subscribe for more. Thank you. See you next time. Bye bye.